Welcome to This Explainer. Tonight, and literally every single night, you are descending into a bizarre, highly active alternate reality locked right inside your own sleeping mind. We're going to tear through exactly what happens the second your eyes close, because trust me, the science of sleep, it's far stranger than you ever imagined. Okay, let's dive into this and completely toss out the myth that sleep is just some passive shutting down of your brain. You are not a machine powering off. When you drift off, you're actually crossing over. You're entering a fully immersive, entirely alternate reality. 90 to 100. That is the magic number of minutes per sleep cycle. Multiple times a night, boom, your brain cycles out of deep rest and plunges straight into these incredibly charged, intensely active states. And here is the absolute kicker. You experience these vivid, wildly emotional realities inside your skull for hours, but by morning, the brain quietly deletes almost all of it. It's a massive biological illusion. You probably think, oh, I don't really dream, but actually your mind is just systematically wiping the hard drive right before you wake up. So the grand myth is that sleep is just a passive shutting off. But the reality, as you cycle into REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, your brain essentially slams on the gas. It shifts into a highly active mode where your brainwaves are practically indistinguishable from when you're standing up, wide awake. Let's fire through exactly what's going on under the hood inside REM sleep. Your eyes dart around rapidly behind closed lids. Your brain waves hit these high-frequency, low-amplitude patterns. Your heart rate spikes. Your respiratory activity climbs. Physiologically speaking, it's completely chaotic. Your mind is racing 1,000,000 miles an hour. But while your mind is sprinting, your body is completely trapped. Muscle atonia. It's a temporary, absolute muscular paralysis that washes over you specifically during your most vivid dreams. You are highly active in your head, but completely physically immobilized in your bed. And this brilliantly illustrates your body's built-in dream safety switch. While your brain fires off intense signals to run or jump or fight whatever hallucination you're dealing with, this temporary paralysis steps in. It's an elegant biological mechanism to stop you from physically acting out those dreams. It keeps you and anyone sleeping next to you completely safe from harm. But what happens when that mechanism glitches out? Well, you get sleep paralysis. It is arguably one of the most terrifying experiences a human can have. You wake up, you're totally aware of your surroundings, but that dream-acting safety switch just lingers for a few extra seconds. You're left perfectly awake, completely aware, and entirely unable to move a single muscle. Now, we have to realize that not all dreams are created equal. If you get woken up from REM sleep, you're going to report these elaborate, vivid, hallucinogenic, highly emotional dreams. But awakened from non-REM sleep, those dreams are fewer, way duller, mostly conceptual, and they really lack that heavy emotional punch. So why all this intensity during REM? Because emotional processing is one of the central functions of dreaming. These nightly hallucinations aren't just random movies playing in the dark. They are absolutely vital for emotional regulation. Your brain is actively wrestling with and processing difficult life events. And researchers have literally measured this emotional shield in action. Check out this specific study. People who spent more time in REM sleep actually showed lower fear-related brain activity when they were given mild electric shocks the very next day. Your dreams are acting as a little buffer, shielding you against waking stress and fear. Sleep researcher Ruben Naiman points out that when we disrupt this cycle, the fallout on our memory and mood is highly measurable. Disrupted REM is linked to depression, PTSD, and even Alzheimer's disease. To be absolutely clear here, studies show these are associations, not direct causations. But the link between poor REM sleep and declining mental health is undeniably strong. Yet, despite all this critical emotional heavy lifting, we constantly fall victim to dream amnesia. Because we naturally forget these intense experiences within minutes of waking up, we drastically underestimate how much we actually dream. You're dreaming constantly. Biological amnesia is just covering the tracks. Let's move to neuro and see how this builds, because the science here is shockingly young. Back in 1953, Kleitman and Ossorensky first linked human dreaming to REM sleep. Shortly after, Jouvet identified it in cats. For decades, the smartest scientists on Earth just assumed REM and dreaming were the exact same thing. Until the modern realization hit, they can be completely dissociated. Now, what's really interesting about this is how a single medical discovery overturned a half-century of logic. Look at this. If a patient has a forebrain lesion, their REM sleep stays completely intact, but dreaming ceases entirely. But a brain stem lesion? REM sleep is prevented, but the patient continues to dream. It proved once and for all that REM and dreaming are produced by completely different biological systems. Which brings us to a frankly staggering admission from Science magazine. Quote, "Why and how we dream during REM sleep is one of the most important and conspicuous knowledge gaps in all of science." Think about that. Despite over 70 years of dedicated research, the world's top experts still don't actually know why we dream. There are leading hypotheses, of course. The primary one is the brain development theory. We observe that newborn mammals spend most of their early lives in an REM-like active sleep state. So the thought is, all this vivid brain activity might just be an evolutionary mechanism designed purely to kickstart early brain development. But hold on, because that theory slams straight into a brick wall. We call it the Great Paradox. Patients taking MAO inhibitor antidepressants can have their REM sleep totally eliminated for years, and human subjects can be deprived of REM for weeks. The result? Seemingly no obvious ill behavioral effects. If REM is so absolutely vital, how on earth can humans survive for years without it? So, the crucial point is this. While REM completely dominates our imagination with wild dreams and enduring mysteries, the deeper, slow-wave, non-REM sleep is where the undeniable, non-negotiable biological repair actually happens. We're talking about absolutely critical physical maintenance here. Non-REM sleep regulates your blood flow. It balances your blood glucose levels. It literally, physically clears Alzheimer's-related plaque right out of your brain tissue. It's the deep cleaning cycle that keeps your body alive and functioning while you're unconscious. But let's connect this right back to your daily habits. On a typical night, your sleep stages shift over time. The longest, most memorable stretches of REM sleep, they happen in those final early morning hours right before you wake up. Which means, when you cheat your sleep, when you skip out on getting that full 7 or 8 hours, the vivid dreams you'd remember best are the very first casualties. You are actively robbing your brain of its most complex emotional regulatory phase, all just to get a head start on your day. You spend a massive fraction of your life navigating a vibrant, hallucinated world that you are biologically programmed to forget. So before you set